There was an absolutely horrifying terror attack yesterday, Reuters reports here. The death toll from a double bomb attack targeting Shias visiting a pilgrimage site in Damascus has climbed to 74. Most of the dead were Iraqi Shias who were going to visit a cemetery near the Old City of Damascus. A Syrian alliance of jihadist groups known as Hayat Tahrir al-Sham said on Sunday it was responsible for the attack. The group said the attack on Saturday targeted Iranian-backed militias in revenge for what it said was their role in supporting President Bashar al-Assad's tyrannical rule, holding them responsible for killing and displacing Syrians. So who doesn't enjoy the deep, disgusting irony there, where you're so tyrannical, so I will now slaughter you, and you're killing people, so now I must kill you, because killing is wrong, so now I get to do it. Even though, by the way, we're not talking about they were targeting military people, even though they say, oh, it was malicious. No, they're just targeting Shias. So, in other words, what it was a Shia holy site. Now, remember, among the jihadists here, the Sunni jihadists, they say, well, you know, you're polytheists and you're infidels. So, we get to kill you because you're the infidel. And so, any Shia is by definition an enemy. And so, they go blow up a Shia holy site. And then they frame it as, it was self-defense because they were the Iranian militias and they were attacking us and they're so evil that they're displacing us and killing us. So we killed them and pretended like it was self-defense and pretended like it was because they're fighting us, even though it wasn't self-defense. They weren't fighting us. They weren't even soldiers. They were innocent Shias who were going to a Shia holy site. Look, this is why I've been saying it all along. We should all say it a hell of a lot more. It's the clash of civilizations is not what Bannon and Trump think it is. It's not, you got Christianity, you got Islam, and they're going to fight each other. That's not what it is. It's ISIS or jihadists, which is a little bit of a bigger umbrella, because it's really ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram, Al-Shabaab, and the jihadist groups. It's really jihadists versus all of us. So that means if you're a moderate Sunni who doesn't buy into their crazy Wahhabi Salafist interpretation, you're their enemy and they'll fucking kill you. If you're a Shia, they'll kill you. If you're an Ahmadiyya Muslim, they'll kill you. If you're a Sufi Muslim, they'll kill you. You could be any other kind of Muslim or any kind of Christian, an atheist, an agnostic, or of any other belief system, Buddhist, Hindu, whatever. You are the enemy of the jihadists because they say theologically you are our enemy and we have a right to slaughter all of you, and it indeed is the moral thing to do. And acts like this prove it. Because they say, look, it's a Shia shrine, people are going there peacefully worshiping and doing their thing, but since we think they're infidels and they're polytheists, and we think, oh, they're all so vicious Assad supporters, now we're going to massacre all these civilians and act like we're doing the moral thing. No, you're not. The breakdown is jihadists versus all of us. And you are seeing an uprising against jihadists, and we're seeing it in Syria. You have Kurds, and you have, various Shia groups. You have the Syrian army, which has many Sunnis in it, by the way, fighting the jihadists. And it's basically an allegiance between everybody against the jihadists. But what we need to do is we need to make sure we stop funding the jihadists in a roundabout way as we're doing. So what we do is we give billions of dollars of weapons and aid to the Saudi government. And they turn around and they fund Al-Qaeda on the ground in Yemen. They turn around and they fund, Al-Nusra in Syria. And we sit back as we watch the Saudis bomb with airplanes innocent women and children, mosques, open-air markets, hospitals, schools in Yemen. We sit back as we allow the weapons to flow in to Syria to jihadists. And the easiest way for us to stop terrorism and stop the rise of jihadism is simply to stop arming Saudi Arabia. If we were to do that, almost overnight, you'd see, the jihadists at a giant disadvantage in Syria, and you'd see situations like this eventually go away. At first, there would be a backlash where there would be more of these kinds of attacks, because when they can't win on an actual battlefield, they turn to domestic terror like this. So initially, you'd see an increase in that because they'd get desperate, they don't have the arms anymore, and so more suicide bombs all around the world. But then there's no other way to defeat them in the long run other than cutting off the flow of weapons to them, and we're the ones providing it. So all we have to do is stop arming Saudi Arabia, stop arming jihadists in Syria, And, eventually over time, you would see things like this go away. But we should be unified in that it's the entire world against the jihadists. It's not the Bannon-Trump idea of Christianity versus Islam, because that would lead to more problems, and that will lead to a bigger conflict down the road, and it's an unnecessary conflict, one that we can avoid.